Got the Traxxas Disruptor on the bench today. Going to fit our long-awaited upgrades, our adjustable stinger drive and rudder, both with the metal brackets. Get rid of this plastic, cheap looking stuff. Should be much stronger. Plus we get some adjustability with the angle of the stinger as well. So it should be pretty simple. If I do the rudder first, just a matter of taking this one here off. I've only just received these, so let's just hope everything fits up. Length of this rudder should be exactly the same. That's how I designed it anyway. Okay, it's the same, which means that all this is going to reach on here. Depth is going to be the same, so it's not going to upset the balance of the boat in any way. It doesn't need to be any longer because these things handle really well. There's no need to put any extra rudder in the water to get them turning any better. They just do not need it. So I've got the two screws out. You'll find that they would normally put some silicone on here, so even though the screws are out, it's still attached. Don't worry too much about it. Just good. Gonna make a liar of me? No, there's definitely nothing else. Just get it off. There we go. Okay. Oh, I see. It had like a locating pin in there, so this was sitting up in behind the trim tab. These trim tabs are actually a little bit different than what you have on yours. They're bigger. They're just an experimental one. So the new one's not going to be worrying about any of that business. It should just bolt straight up in exactly the same place. If it doesn't, I got problems, because I waited for about 2 months for these things to be made. Now the thickness, let's just check. Okay, our rudder bracket is thicker than the plastic one here by a little bit, not a huge amount. So, now as long as this lines up here, half the job is done, and it's looking pretty good. Okay, now how is that holding on here? Oh, okay, Traxxas suggest relying on the rubber, the plastic thread in here that they made the first time they ever put that bolt through here. You know, it just makes a thread as it's going through the plastic, which kind of makes it tight. Because this is going into an aluminium part, the aluminium rudder, it's not going to tighten, you know, it's not going to stay like tight. It could unwind. So two things you can do both if you want. One is put a bit of Loctite on there, and the second is you can put an M3 nut, like a nylock nut, on the bottom. I mean, this bolt's pretty long. It doesn't need to be this long. It's going to look a bit silly actually. What do we got here? It's going to hang out a fair way. But I'm just trying to do it as someone would do it, is if they just received this kit. Because I do want it to be them to be able to use all the same bolts and hardware. Okay, so that's what she's going to look like with the factory bolt. You just leave it like it's only a visual thing. I'm going to put a nylock under there as well, a nylock nut. Not from there. M3 nylock. While we're doing it, I might as well swap out the bolt. What's this one? Yeah, okay. I'm going to swap out the bolt, but just because I've got all these bolts here, like probably no one's going to want to worry about doing that, but I'm just doing it. Okay, so my rudder has a kickback function if we were to run aground or whatever. It'll just save the back of your boat. Do the bottom one up fairly firm and do the top one up tight. So this is the one that's going to let it swing. So I just do that firm. I won't do it stupidly tight, but the top one, just, yeah. You can do this pretty much as tight as you want and it's still going to be able to let it kick back. It's not the one that governs whether it can kick back or not. So, you know, there's a fair bit of force there. It's not, I mean, holding on there, it's not going to just kick back just from the speed of the boat. Now, apart from it looking better, being way stronger than this piece of plastic, advantage you're going to get as well is you're not going to have this stupid hole that's drilled in here for nothing. Like, why would you have that? A chance for water to, you know, sort of catch on there and drag. I don't understand why Traxxas ever did that. They've got a hole going through there for absolutely nothing. So you're not going to have that. Now, the Stinger drive, we're going to be changing the cable as well. We're going to be putting a wire drive in there too. This will be part of the kit. So you're going to be taking the collet off, 210mm. All right. So that's the old one. Here's my new one. Okay, it's just a little bit different in the way of just what mounts up to the back of here. This will clear, like this area here will clear that rubber O-ring, or whatever you'd call that, that seal. And the bolt holes should line up perfectly, and they do. Because it's slotted, you would be able to move it up and down a little bit, but yeah, you won't. There's no real need to. There's no need to do that. You could make things worse. What we're going to do is fit a wire drive, and that means taking the collet off because it uses a different connector. And pop this on. Now before I do this, I'm just going to shorten this down. When you buy this in the kit, it's already going to be the right length. I'll find out whatever that is, and that's what we'll be supplying it with. So that's ready to go. So this is what you'll get in the kit. I will just remember that you got to back off these screws here. There's 4 of them. It makes it handy when you've got a an outrunner motor where you can just turn it, you know, easily. Get through everything. So just put a little bit of grease on the cable, on the wire itself, and a bit on the stub shaft. Now the advantage of this, of course, is this is thinner than your cable. There's going to be just no resistance there at all. And of course, being thin, it means you can get most of your grease in there too. It doesn't all just wipe off as it's trying to do here. I guess if I show you the right way to do it, it's actually better to push it in there and then do that. All right. There it goes. And that's it there. Alright, same screws to put the put the new Stinger in. Alright, so now I've got a stinger that I can adjust the height of. It was set dead straight before, or dead level, so that's where I'll set this one as well. And we'll see how that goes. Okay, so there that is. One thing I did do off camera was move the arm here one tooth back that way, and the reason I did that is because I'm running a bigger prop than the standard prop. Standard is 42 and I've got a 45 on there, and I was just getting a little bit too close to the rudder here. So what I've done is gone that way with the arm, and that means when it's on full lock the other way, it can only go so far. I mean, that's the way that to turn left, it's, you know, not really the way you're ever going to be turning anyway, or more than likely. But just to make sure it can never ever hit, I've just gone one spline, and I did a bit of adjustment on here as well, you know, just by turning that. Yeah, and that's it then. It's really free. It's really free. So that's going to be good for speed and battery runtime as well. And just grease the wire drive every couple of runs, you know, just as you normally would with a cable. I've left the Teflon liner in there, and I've set it dead straight. After you set it straight, just the only thing you got to remember to do is tighten this one up here. If you don't do that, you're going to get water. There's a seal inside here. You'll get water trying to come up there. So just seal that up, tighten that up, and then water can't go up the shaft. Just when you get this on, just make sure no part of the stinger is underneath the bottom of the boat. And that can be adjusted, you know, from these ones here because they're on a slot. I've just got it perfectly level, or maybe just the smallest bit down with the bottom of the boat.